Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Brajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Rukmini Dwarkadish Rukmini Dwarkadish Rukmini Dwarkadish Rukmini Dwarkadish Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bon, Jaya Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahansa Parivrajak Acharya Asitar Sri Shriman. ISKCON BBT founder Charles Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavarinda Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se Kahosh Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopa Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Gir Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Bhajabhumi Nabadam Ki Jai. Shri Nabadi Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Your most beautiful Lordship Shri Shrikmini Dwarkadish Ki Jai. Shri Shrikmini Dwarkanath Ki Jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Going back to home, back to Godhead Ki Jai. ISKCON Los Angeles Yatra Ki Jai. Brihad Mridanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. International Food for Life. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to the seven devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glory Srila Prabhupada. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Deving Sarasatim Yasam Tato Jayamutirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us offer respect for the obeisances unto the personality of God and Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, who is the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly attending the Srimad Bhagavatam class and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, whose worship with transcendental songs becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing our reading from the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're in chapter 18, and today's text is 4, right? Yes. Twang nak sapat nair abapaya king brito. Yo maya ya hancha suran parokshajit. Twang yoga maya balam alpa porasham. Sangstapya mudha pramrije surichaha. Twang nak sapat nair habavaya king brito. Yo maya ya hancha suran parokshajit. Twang yoga maya balam alpa porasham. Sangstapya mudha pramrije surichaha. Twang nak sapat nair habavaya king brito. Yo maya ya hantya suran parokshajit. Twang yoga maya balam alpa porasham. Sangstapya Mudha Pramrje Surich Twanak Sapat Nair Abhavaya Kimbrito Sapat Nair Twanak Sapat Nair Abhavaya Kimbrito Yogamaya Malamal Proportion Vaishnavis. Synonyms. Tvam, you. Naha, us. Sapatnai, by our enemies. Abhavaya, for killing. Kim, is it that? Britaha, maintained. Yaha, he who. Mayaya, by deception. Hanti, kills. Asuran, the demons. Parokshajit, who conquered by remaining invisible. Tvam, you. Yogamaya, Balam, whose strength is bewildering power. Alpapowersham, whose power is meager. Sangstapya, after killing. Mudha, fool. Pramrije, I shall wipe out. Surit Shuchaha, the grief of my kinsmen. Srila Prabhupada's translation for this verse. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystic, so today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. Not really the nicest verse to repeat, but we'll repeat it anyway. Repeat after me. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The demon used the word apavaya, which means for killing. Sridhar Swami comments that this killing means liberating, or in other words, killing the process of continued birth and death. The Lord kills the process of birth and death and keeps himself invisible. The activities of the Lord's internal potency are inconceivable. But by a slight exhibition of this potency, the Lord, by his grace, can deliver one from nescience. Shuchaha means miseries. The miseries of material existence can be extinguished by the Lord by his potential energy of internal yoga maya. In the Upanishads, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6:8, it is stated, Parasi Shaktir Vividaya Shriyate. The Lord is invisible to the eyes of the common man, but his energies act in various ways. When demons are in adversity, they think that God is hiding himself and is working by his mystic potency. They think that if they can find God, they can kill him just by seeing him. Hiranyaksha thought that way, and he challenged the Lord, quote, you have done tremendous harm to our community, taking the part of the demigods, and you have killed our kinsmen in so many ways, always keeping yourself hidden. Now I see you face to face, and I am not going to let you go. I shall kill you and save my kinsmen from your mystic misdeeds. End of quote. Not only are demons always anxious to kill God with words and philosophy, but they think that if one is materially powerful, he can kill God with materially fatal weapons. Demons like Kamsa, Ravana, and Hiranyakashipu thought themselves powerful enough to kill even God. Demons cannot understand that God, by his multifarious potencies, can work so wonderfully that he can be present everywhere and still remain in his eternal abode, Goloka Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarine Om Agyana Timurandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Unmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtang Shtapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishyavangsha Shri Rupam Sagadatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jakatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So who knows the name of the common instrument that is used to measure atmospheric pressure? A barometer, yes. So when the barometer is low, pressure is low, the frog in my throat gets bigger. In other words, I clear my throat a lot more. Prabhupada cleared his throat a lot, so when I hear Prabhupada speak, I don't feel so bad, but there's like a permanent frog in the throat that is affected by barometric pressure. So forgive me if I clear my throat occasionally. So interesting, when I saw this verse, the first thing that stood out to me is the word on the first line. Actually, can you put the synonyms back up? please. We're going to discuss a little bit here. So on the first line, the second to last word is kim, which properly translates as, is it that? Which means that Hiranyaksha was asking a question. But somehow or other in the translation, it doesn't come across as a question. It comes across as a statement. So I'm going to contact our BBT senior editor, Dravida, to ask why this was not presented as a question, because it's being asked. Kim, is it that? And what is that question that he's asking? He's asking, is it that you have been nourished by our enemies, the demigods, he's asking. But somewhere or other in the translation, it comes across as a statement. He said that you have been nourished by our... Now, there is a difference, but not so much. It's just like, it's in both cases, it's a presumption or an assumption. Synonymous words, presumption or assumption. It's just like if I approach Arcita Prabhu and ask, and say either a statement, you have been stealing the Maha, or I can ask, have you been stealing the Maha? In either way, it's a presumption. I'm assuming that he's stealing the Maha. Whether I'm asking a question or making a statement, I'm assuming that Arcita Prabhu has been stealing the Maha. So, but it's still important for accuracy that things be presented the way it was written in the Sanskrit. So I'm going to contact Arcita Prabhu today and ask him why. Now, there are several reasons why. Prabhupada could have just made it into a statement for whatever reason, and that we have to accept. That is a prerogative of the author, of the Acharya. He can do that. But as we know, the process of Prabhupada writing his books was that he dictated. He dictated into a dictaphone, and then that tape was sent to somebody who put it on a separate machine and put on some headsets and listened to Prabhupada's dictation and typed out a transcription. In other words, they typed what they thought, and they didn't always hear accurately. They typed what they thought they were hearing. Because, again, there were new devotees at that time. Most of the transcribers were not familiar with Sanskrit, and they were still baffled by Prabhupada's accent in many cases. One famous example that I present many times is that Prabhupada was on a morning walk, and he said clearly, if you hear the tape, don't come near, because devotees had the habit sometimes of stepping on Prabhupada's feet from behind. They wanted to be close to hear what he was saying, and they would accidentally sometimes step on Prabhupada's feet. So Prabhupada said clearly on that tape, don't come near. But the transcriber who transcribed that particular morning walk, they typed, don't come here. So there's a big difference between don't come near and don't come here. It's not that Prabhupada didn't want the devotees to come here, near him, but he don't come too near that you step on my feet. So it could have been an error of transcription, or it could have been that Prabhupada actually dictated, you have been nourished by my illness. So I'll try to find out which one. But in any case, again, it's an assumption. Hiranyaksha is assuming that Lord Varaha, is just a mystical manifestation, someone who has been nourished by the demigods, which in a sense doesn't make any sense because Varuna already informed him. And he knew from his experience that the demigods were afraid of him. So how are they going to nourish anybody who's going to fight him? But Varuna said, no, there's this one personality, the oldest personality you will find at the bottom of the universe, and he will satisfy your desire to fight, so much so that he will kill you. So this is what is about to unfold here. And as we heard from the previous verse, that the Acharyas can give different meanings to these statements of Hiranyaksha. He's trying to insult Krishna, Lord Varaha, but it can be interpreted in different ways. Overall, though, we should understand that this entire dialogue is actually scripted by the Lord himself. All of his pastimes, and that's what they are, they're pastimes. Even these activities in the material world, they're pastimes. They're not anything that's being forced upon the Lord. It's not that Lord Varaha is forced to appear and forced to say certain things. No, the entire thing is Krishna's pastime. The celebrated speaker of the Bhagavatam alluded to that in his prayers in the 4th chapter of the 2nd canto. He starts out by saying, Namak Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sad Udbhavastana Niroda Lilaya Grihita Shakti Chutayaya Dehinam Antarbhavaksanu Palakshavartmane. So Shukadeva Goswami informs us that the Namak Parasma, he's offering obeisances unto that personality. Purusha, Purushaya Bhuisa. Sad Udbhava Sthana Nirodha. The creation, maintenance, and destruction of this material world are Leela. Sad Udbhava Sthana Nirodha Leelaya. It's Leela. So we may wonder, we're suffering in this material world, and you're saying it's God's Leela? It's pastime? What kind of God is that? People right now all over the world are thinking like that. If there is a God, how can he let children and women be killed so brutally in these wars that are going on? What kind of God is that? And as I advised, take advantage when you see these kind of questions online. Answer, give them real knowledge. Whether they accept it or not, you can't, just like when you give somebody a book on the street, you can't guarantee they're even going to read it, what to speak of, glean anything from it. But still, it's our duty to spread transcendental knowledge. So if you go online and you see these kinds of questions, people saying there is no God, there can't be God, how could God allow this to happen? Then you answer to the best of your ability based on the knowledge that we've gotten from the scriptures. So yes, it is God's pastime, and in this entire interaction of Lord Varaha, Lord Nrsingadev, these are pastimes. It's not something that's forced upon the Lord. The Lord assumes these particular forms, or actually eternally exists in these particular forms for his pastime. He enjoys coming in just the right form for the task at hand. So the task at hand was that the earth had fallen to not just the bottom of the Garbhodak ocean, which fills half of the universe, but all the way down, that it was mired in the muck. As you know, if there's water standing and over some time, muck at the bottom. So, as Prabhupada said on several occasions, the right form for digging in such a situation is the bore form. Pigs, they have this hard plate on the front of their face, and with that they can use it like a shovel. They can dig into the earth. They're very fond, especially in Europe, of digging for truffles. So the Lord comes in just the right form, and this is pastime. So this dialogue is part of the script. This is a grand drama that's unfolding, beginning with the interaction of Jaya and Vijay with the four Kumaras, and then they come to this material world. In their case, fortunately, for a limited number of births, and then they go back to the spiritual world. In our case, not so fortunate. We have voluntarily turned away from God and been placed here in this material world. Prabhupada said in one lecture that we forced Krishna to put us in the material world by our desire to imitate Krishna, to turn away from Krishna. We forced him to put us here. And now that we're here, we're bewildered. We're bewildered. Why am I suffering? Why aren't things going exactly the way I want them to go? And therefore we fight. We fight amongst ourselves. As I was saying on Sunday, during my Sunday feast lecture, that depending on the motive that you're impelled by, that's how you react when things don't go right. So a person in a mode of goodness, when things don't go right, they inquire. They want to know, understand. They want to get to the root cause of why this is happening, not just the immediate, somebody did something to me. But why? Get to the root of it. That's mode of goodness. Inquiring, want to know. And when they get the answer, they want to teach. That's also mode of goodness. Not that I inquire, I get an answer, and then I keep it to myself. I give a class, and I don't want to share my notes because I don't want any. Where did you get the information from? Prabhupada's books. Or sometimes, unfortunately, they just Google, and whatever they find on the internet, they come and present. But as I've pointed out on many occasions, you can't trust that. If you find something on the internet, even if it says Prabhupada said, check with the books, check with the database. The database is much more accurate presentation of what Prabhupada said than just Googling. There have been so many instances of that, people Googling and presenting something that was not actually factual. One famous one that happened right here. Somebody Googled a conversation of Prabhupada talking about book distribution where he said, it's our most important activity. Prabhupada said that. That's what he actually said. But the person who Googled, they found it quoted as, Prabhupada said, it's one of our most important activities. That's not what Prabhupada said. Rameshwar happened to be here when the person was presenting. So after that, he approached her and said, look, I was there when Prabhupada said this. It's not what he said. He said book distribution. At that point, in that particular conversation, he said, it's our most important activity. But whoever posted it on the internet wrote, it's one of our most important activities. For some reason, they injected some extra words in there. So you should know that. When somebody puts something on the internet, it's not necessarily factual. So at least do a little more homework and try to collaborate. If it says, if this was a conversation between Suhas and Prabhupada, then ask of us, is this actually what you said or what you heard? You know, collaborate, don't, or investigate further. Don't just take whatever you find on the internet as gospel. So Hiranyaksha, this interaction with Lord Boar, it's scripted. Hiranyaksha's insults, it's actually scripted. This is what Krishna wants him to say at this particular point. And then later on, Lord Boar himself also insults the demon. Karma brought up that verse, the 10th verse in this chapter, which is a verse that's always stuck with me because it's so dramatic. This whole interaction is like a big drama, should be made into a big movie, because it's amazing how the Lord, first of all, can come as a gigantic boar, and how he at first seems to tolerate these insults, but then he retaliates by insulting the demon. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Satyam Vayam Po Vanagochar Amrika Yusmad Vedan Mrigaye Gramya Singham Namritya Pashay Pachamuktasya Virya Vikatanam Tabagrinantya Bhadra. The Supreme Personality of God had said, indeed, we are creatures of the jungle, and we're searching after hunting dogs like you. One who's freed from the entanglement of death is not afraid of the loose talk in which you're indulging, because you're bound up by the laws of death. So this is our takeaway from this entire thing, that those who are entangled by the laws of death, in other words, no matter how big you get, Hiranyaksha was so powerful. As soon as Varuna told him that the Lord was at the bottom of the universe, he went down there. We can't even imagine the distances covered. We don't even necessarily accept that there's half the universe is filled with water. But he knew. Varuna said that's where he is, so he went down there. And now he's accosting the Lord. You fool! This earth planet has been entrusted to us denizens of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from us without a fight. So this is what Krishna wanted. He wanted to fight. That's why he came. That's why this whole drama has been enacted, so that the Lord could come and get a good fight. So the Lord, again, he takes the advantage of the insults of the demon to insult him, that you're just Grama Singha. Grama Singha means village lion. In the village, the dog is lion. So he's insulting him in that way. You think you're a lion, but you're just a village lion. You're just a dog, in other words. Not really a worthy opponent. Now, again, the whole thing has been scripted. So Hiranyaksha is going to play his part to the hilt. He's going to get angry, bite his lip. He's going to charge at the Lord with his weapon. And the Lord parries and extends the fight. The demigods get a little bit upset because Abhijit, the evening hour is approaching when the demons get more powerful. Please kill him now. But as the Lord says, this particular demon, not just a demon, all of us, we're entangled in the clutches of birth and death. And we have to plan how to get out permanently, not to stay here and try to avoid death materially. As many of you know, I just went have that cyst removed, and the tissue was sent for a biopsy. They still don't have the results yet. So, you have to be a little bit afraid that results may come back negative. But by whichever means, whether it's by cancer or whatever means, we all have to get ready to leave this earthly plane. We have to get ready to leave this particular body. We may or may not come back to this earthly plane. That's another thing. So the Lord, when he comes and enacts these dramatic pastimes, it gives us food for thought, a way of meditate. After all, he orders in his original form as Krishna, man manaha, think of me. So what are you going to think? You can't just dream up some way of thinking of God. No, these are the ways that we think. We remember the Lord's pastimes. We remember the Lord's instructions. We remember the glorification of the Lord by pure devotees. We take shelter of the pure devotees. We take shelter of the process of devotional service. So part of that process is accepting prasadam. So I was just thinking that one of my big disappointments in my devotional career is that I never got any Maha Prasadam directly from Srila Prabhupada's plate. Even though I was around Prabhupada for some extensive periods right here in New Dwarka, when he came in '75 for that famous 17 volumes in 2 months, I was part of that team. And in New York, and in Mayapur, and in Vrindavan. So I was fortunate enough to be around Prabhupada for some extended periods of time, and I never got even one crumb from his plate. So I asked Tadit this morning, did she get? And she said yes. She said, not only that, but she ate some dust from Prabhupada's shoe. Haribo! Can you imagine the good fortune? So, Subhas Prabhu, did you ever get Mahaprasadam directly from Prabhupada's plate? Naikatma? You did? Where? Whoa! Yeah. Give him the microphone, please, so all of us can hear.
When Srila Prabhupada came to San Francisco in '74, he was giving a lecture at the Market Street temple before they had moved to the present one.
Yeah.
Which the old one was a funeral home. It's a pretty weird place.
Former funeral home, yeah.
Yeah, and after the lecture, Srila Prabhupada had a plate of prasadam brought to him on the Vyasasana, and he sampled some things and then got off the Vyasasana and walked away, and I was given a orange slice that he had eaten, sucked on, and so I got the rind and everything else.
Haribo!
There was another time when Srila Prabhupada was in New Vrindavan in '75, and he visited he was staying at the house next to the old temple, which is right now, it's just I think Jagannath, no, it's not being used by anyone right now, but the new temple had not been constructed yet.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada was going up to the Brahmachari farm, and so we ran after him. He was in a vehicle with Kirtananda Swami, and as he was driving up the hill to the farmhouse, the wheels were spinning because it was a muddy day, and all these brahmacharis were running. The Radha Damodar was there at the time. All these brahmacharis were running after the vehicle, and the mud was spraying all over him, and Prabhupada turned around and just started laughing. Who are these characters? So when we got to the house, we had Guru Puja, and Shastivar Prabhu led wonderful Guru Puja, and then afterwards Prabhupada spoke, and after he spoke, he motioned to the deities, to the altar. There was Gornitai, which is right now in the new temple, but the Gornitai deities had a plate of prasadam. Their deity plate was on the altar, and Prabhupada motioned, bring it here. So they brought it to Prabhupada, as he was on the Vyasasana, he started sampling right off the deity's plate. And he grabbed a gulab jamun and bit into it. And, no, it was a rasgulla, I'm sorry. And I was standing next to the Vyasasana, and I put my hand out, and Prabhupada put the remainder of the rasgulla in my hand.
Whoa! Haribo! Haribo!
Then he started, Prabhupada was really ecstatic. He was very blissful in the association of all these enthusiastic devotees. Then he started drinking his hot milk, but he was taking it by spoon. He wasn't drinking it from the cup. He would take the spoon and spoon out little portions. And so I put my hand out again, and he gave me a spoon of milk.
Wow. Haribo! Jai! Naikatma Prabhu ki jai. I know there's at least one person in this room who got quite a bit of Maha from Prabhupada's plate, and that's Rabindranath Prabhu. Tell your story, Rabindranath.
when Srila Prabhupada was here, and I think it was 73, 74, his servant would bring Prabhupada's breakfast plate into the kitchen, and I used to work in the kitchen during that time, so I would get prasadam from Prabhupada's breakfast plate, sometimes so much that I couldn't even eat it all.
Haribo.
And I remember once Hari Sari had some extra milk that Srila Prabhupada had. Anyway, he gave me some of his milk, and I took that, and I noticed it wasn't as sweet as we usually have at the temple. So, and some other times also.
Jai, Haribol. So now we know why Rabindranath Prabhu is so steadfast and so strong in his service here in New Dwarka. He's nourished directly by Srila Prabhupada's Maha Prasadam. So last but not least, Maharaj, did you ever get any direct Mahaprasadam from Srila Prabhupada?
It was just very briefly, we were upstairs, and it was like a room conversation. So I was introduced by Rameshwar to saying, well, he used to be a sannyasi before he even came here. And so Prabhupada asked me who was the guru, and I told him what his name was. He says, oh yes, I know of him. He says, what did he teach you? And there was a big silence. I says, I'm still scratching my head and trying to figure out whether he taught me anything, and I don't think he did, and that's why I'm here. Prabhupada, he liked that.
Very well. Thank you, Maharaj. So somebody was recently visiting here and asked me, do we have a Prabhupada night where we just focus on Prabhupada? We used to at one point, but for you younger devotees, even if we don't start that again, as you can see, there's so many walking Prabhupada Leela sources here. So take advantage before we all disappear. Take advantage, and the way it's recommended by the Shastra, don't just go up and start asking questions. Service. Try to serve the senior devotees, and they will very eagerly share their experiences in Krishna consciousness. Granth Sahaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.